Warning, we are not trained or licensed professionals. Do not take any advice that we give as official doctoral prescribed medical treatment. We only use the name as a means to appreciate cinema as a therapeutic device, not to be confused with drugs, antidepressants, or any other forms of enhancements that you might find in legal states. Please enjoy responsibly.
Additional disclaimer. If the film says we can say it too. So check the film rating and that will be our episode rating. Additional disclaimer. We dive pretty deep into some serious topics this episode, so if suicide or self-harm is a trigger for you, I have left timestamps in the description when we start to discuss that. It's around 36 minutes and 42 seconds, so you can skip over that if you need to. I have also left additional resources in the description if you or anyone else you know needs help.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? Hey.
What's up?
This is Film Therapy. We're up to session 15 now.
Session 15. I hope you're starting to see some mental results about this time.
Yeah, the mental results being that we're both clinically crazy.
Yeah, we're starting to really get in there. I signed up for BetterHelp.com today.
Oh, really? What is that? Is that like a...
It's like an online counselor thing.
I should seriously look into that.
It was really easy. So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And
cool.
So today we are going to be talking about The Breakfast Club, as was decided late last week, this week. And we have a very special guest joining us today. She is my oldest friend. Her name is Emily. She's from Nebraska. We went to high school together. Please welcome Emily.
Hey guys, I want to clarify, I'm not that old. I'm only in my 20s.
Yeah, my oldest friend might be my grandma.
Grandmas are great friends.
So we were recording from 3 different locations tonight. Emily was just here in North Carolina. She was visiting me. We had such a great time. We saw all the fall things. Went exploring. It was awesome. We took some great pictures. We saw some great autumn foliage.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular.
Oh my god. Yeah, we were just screaming the whole time.
When we weren't singing.
Yeah.
What were you singing? Just anything?
Oh,
High School Musical.
Yeah, I was gonna say some
Taylor
2000s.
Swift. Yeah, early 2000s. My early 2000s playlist.
So basically the greatest thing ever.
It was something.
Best of both worlds.
And some John Denver, because we were on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yes, he's the perfect person to listen to then. So yeah, then we got the idea to have Emily on as a guest, and we asked her what movie she'd like to talk about. And she said Breakfast Club, which is one of Jake's all-time favorites, so it worked out really, really well. And that's what we will discuss today. I don't want to do the recap. Jake, do you want to?
Sure. So 5 kids in high school all go to all commit some sort of crime, some sort of school crime, and they all end up in detention together on Saturday, and they spend the whole day through various methods of talking and fighting and blazing up and running around and all these things. They learn a lot about each other, and they learn that they're not so different after all, as the song goes.
Yes.
The end.
Basically, there's not such a whole plot point as there is just a purpose to the movie.
Which is also very similar to another, well, I guess there are 2 movies, 3 technically, movies that we've also talked about before, so.
It's kind of a theme here on Film Therapy.
Yeah, those are really the therapy type movies we talk about. And then we just talk about random crap like Supergirl.
Yeah.
I wonder if the movies you guys have chosen to talk about have anything to do with age and things that might be found to be relatable.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
It's a really interesting thought.
Like age of the movies or our age?
Your age.
Yeah. And it's interesting because Jake is 4 years younger than me.
Okay.
Am I really? Wow.
And so we do have a small gap, but we still relate on a bunch of stuff. Really
like
a lot.
Garden State.
Have you seen Garden State?
No.
Oh, I think you'd really like that one.
Garden State's incredible.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was without Garden State, the show would probably not exist.
Yeah, that was the first movie Jake lent to me.
Okay, I'm literally writing it down on a sticky note right now.
I think that should be your number one on your list right now.
Okay.
Except for Supergirl, which is a cinematic
No. Wait, no,
Okay,
wait.
That should be number 7.
All the Friday the 13th, watch those first.
And then Supergirl.
I respectfully decline a Friday the 13th movie watching
That is
invitation.
very much appreciated. Yeah, because
Yes.
I listened.
or it's very valid.
Yeah, I listened to the podcasts, and that was what
Oh, wow,
that was all I
thanks.
needed of the Friday
yeah.
the 13th.
Me too. I'm glad you listened to them. Thank you.
I did.
Yeah, me too. I still have emotional scars from watching those movies.
Yeah, only therapeutic movies from now. So,
Awesome.
Jake and Emily,
Maddie?
when did you first see this movie?
Well, Emily, you go first because you're our guest.
Oh gosh.
You're our honored guest, so you go first. If you want.
I believe I was in college my freshman year when I was living in the dorms.
Okay. Was it like just on TV?
No, I think I came across it on no, honestly, my mom recommended it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched it. I think I bought it on, no, I don't know what I watched it on.
That's okay.
But yeah, I was in the college dorms and I watched it, and I was close enough to high school that it still kind of rang true, some of it, and it's just
Yeah.
kind of been one that I've liked.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It really hits hard the first time you watch it, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it since then?
I think I've seen it, I'd say 2 or 3 times since then.
Okay. I don't remember the last time I watched it. I didn't have time to watch it the last couple days, but I recapped by listening to other people's podcasts about it.
Okay.
It would have been. I will probably watch it soon, just because I know I enjoy it, and it is a really good movie just to watch. But yeah, so Jake, what about you?
It was a dull gray Thursday.
Oh my.
Okay, never mind. Because apparently Maddie does not want me to say that. Anyway.
No, I don't care if you say that.
Jesus. Okay. Let me get serious for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So I first saw this movie when I was in 8th grade, I believe, because it was like the trifecta of War Games, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Breakfast Club, and then that was like what solidified my love of 1980s cinema, which is the greatest thing of all time. I don't remember like when I watched it. I just think I went to Target or something, and then I was shopping with my mom, and then I asked her to get it for me, and she said yes because I'd heard about it before. The first time I watched it, my thought was like, this is pretty good. I like this. And then I thought about it some more, and I watched it a couple more times, and then it really clicked with me, especially once I got into high school, and I showed pretty much most of my friends that I would hang out with like the movie. And so I've seen it many, many times since then, and it's a movie that honestly got me through high school. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Very
really
cool.
resonates.
Yeah, it's interesting that you watched it before you were even in high school.
Ooh, fun fact. This movie actually, like, it meant a lot to me beforehand, but when I was a sophomore, I believe, I went with 2 of my best friends from high school. We went to go see this, like, they had an anniversary screening in the theater, and we went and saw it, the 3 of us together, and it was amazing.
Like the 30th anniversary?
Mm-hmm. And then after that, one of my friends and I like stayed up till like it was. I think we had school the next day, but we ended up staying like out in my dad's backyard till like 1 a.m, and it was glorious.
Oh, nice.
We just had our own like one-on-one therapy session.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. Happy 30th anniversary.
But that would have been 2015. That would have been 5 years. So 35th now.
Yeah, 35 years old.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it came out in 1985, and directed by John Hughes, of course. I think we forgot to say that, but
Legend.
Anyway.
Written and directed.
written and directed, starring Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy.
Anthony Michael Hall and Judd Nelson.
There you go. Thank you. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. A couple adults who we don't care about. Jake,
Maddie.
it's interesting that you watched it before you were in high school, and it kind of warned you about the cliques in high school. And you went to a really small school, as did Emily and I, right? How big was your graduating class?
Oh God, the number was less than 30.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Mine was 67.
Yeah, mine was 72. I'm surprised that yours was
72.
less than mine, Maddie.
Yeah, it seemed like we were pretty high, but then like in the senior year, I feel like we lost at least like 15 people.
When I moved here in 8th grade, we had 88 people in my class. And then when I graduated, we only had 72.
Wow.
It's like, where do they all go? I guess a lot of them move and stuff, but
Or, other stuff happens.
other
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. We all went to relatively small schools, and cliques were still a thing in our school, and I'm sure they were in yours too, Jake, right?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, they existed, but it was definitely much more of a loose term.
Okay.
But yes, it existed.
Yeah.
They existed.
It's so weird. Isn't that, like, to think about it now, out of high school, to think that you grow up with these kids and there are just, like, groups of people that you associate and they associate with themselves, and if they go beyond the barrier of their clique, then it's not really accepted. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
It's
Yeah,
so
it is.
weird looking back on that.
Yeah, and like this movie really shows it. And like I think Emily and I, we were talking about this the other day, where in high school you think everything's a huge deal, and like whatever you do, people will like, oh, what will people think if I do this? And it is like people talk about this and about that, and if you do this, and if you have parents who do this or whatever, especially in a small town.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
And-
think that's amplified in a small town.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But then once you graduate, none of it matters. And like there's nothing you can say to someone in high school that will make you really believe that, because it's really hard to see when you're still in high school. But
Oh yeah, I had people tell me that. I was like, yeah, okay.
right, I mean, it's your life at that point, and that's what you do. You don't really have a career, you don't have higher education, you just go to school and you see these people and you do your extracurricular activities, and those define you really in high
Or
school.
you watch The Breakfast Club over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
So, do you guys identify with any certain character?
I kind of thought of that when I was thinking about this movie earlier. I think that you're supposed to identify with all of them in some way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. The last time I watched this would have been sometime a couple weeks ago. I was watching it with my cousin. I don't know if I think he had seen it, but I don't know if he had seen the whole thing. But that was one thing that we talked about when, like, after the movie, was like how that is true, how you identify with even just one or two, but for me it's like I do identify with all of them in a way.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What about you, Maddie?
Well, when I had my hair cut short with like bangs, I have this photo of myself recreating
gosh.
Ali
I see
Sheedy's
it.
character.
I see it now.
Please.
Yeah.
I so want to see that.
I'll send it to you. You can like post it on our Instagram if you want.
I will not without your permission. But I guess you just
I
gave me your
think
permission.
it looks really good. So okay, I'll send it. I'll send it to you right now.
Well, hey, Maddie, if War Games 2 is ever filmed, you can be Ali Sheedy. If it's ever filmed as a live-action movie.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, I'm pretty sure she's the character in War Games too, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
but she
So
is.
Emily, have you seen the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy?
Nope.
But yeah, it's a great movie. Ali Sheedy's in it, obviously.
I had no
So,
idea.
She looks different though, because she has like really.
Yeah, her
like,
hair's really long, and she's like
long
a sweet girl, and
Yeah.
Okay.
anyway, so I kind of relate to her, but only because she's the only like misfit. Like there's not like a band nerd type character. She's like, she represents like all the artsy kids, I feel like, and that's kind of what I was. But I wasn't like making
Yeah.
pictures out of my dandruff,
That's a good thing.
But yeah, I also am like a lot of a Brian too, because he's nerdy and only cares about his grades, and I only cared about my grades really. But except I almost got detention once, and I like cried and I begged the teacher because I was late like a minute, and she was going to give me like a 10-minute detention, which I thought was going to be the end of the world. And I was like, please, please, please. I was like in the bathroom. I swear. I'm so sorry I was late. And she like let it go. But I was like, oh my God. I almost died. Did you ever have detention? Anyone?
I did.
You did?
I was late. I was supposed to, like, so I was going back to the classroom after going to the bathroom between classes, and like 4 minutes isn't a lot.
No.
Oh my God.
And
We could do a whole episode on that.
oh my gosh, it was horrible. And you're in the class that I was late to. The rule is that if you got back to the class before the teacher, you weren't late.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't, then you would get detention. And he was always late to class. Like, he was always in the other hallway talking to some of the other teachers. But on this day, out of all the days, he got there before I did. And I had to go to detention and sit in the gym working on my chemistry homework while he coached basketball, and I was really embarrassed because I was not a sports person.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Were you the only one there?
Oh yeah, it was like literally just me in the corner in all of my weird nerdy glory while all of these like super cool girls were playing basketball and like being coached. Yeah, it was rough. It was really rough.
I'm sorry you had to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, Maddie, because I'm all like, oh, I'm a mix of this person and that person, but like the reasons why are like really deep reasons that like
that's okay.
I would share, but then like I don't know if we'll leave it in the recording or not.
Oh, well, it's up to you.
So that's what I mean. That's what I meant.
That's fair. You don't have to share if you don't want to.
Mm-mm. It's therapy, remember?
That's right.
It's true. I guess it all started when I was born. Anyway,
So, next question. Who's your biggest crush in this movie?
Oh my gosh.
Oh. I didn't want to answer the first question. Why do I gotta answer this one?
Okay, I'll go
I'm
first.
not going first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I have two types. One is nerdy Brian. Like, really, like, light skin, like, light hair, nerdy, twiggy. Then I have another type that's, like, long-haired. If Judd Nelson had a beard and glasses, that would be my other type.
I feel like he does in some movie have like a beard and glasses, but like the same hair.
Okay. Well, figure out that and then let me know. But, so, it's like a combination between those two, for me. Because, like, Brian is so cute. He's just, like, nerdy and sweet and innocent but, like...
You just want to hug him?
Yeah, but
the whole movie?
I really do not like Emilio Estevez's character. I just don't relate to him. I don't think he's attractive, really, and I think... I don't know. I just don't... I don't get him, really. The girls are just too extreme. Like, they needed more of, like, a diversity, I think, between the two. Like, if they had one more girl, like, somewhere in between, because they're just, like, so extremely different. And I don't really like either of them that much.
I agree.
Because, like, Claire is... I mean, I kind of like Claire, and I kind of like Allison, because there are things that I relate to with either of them, but then they go from one extreme to the other, and to me, neither of them are, like, have that great of qualities that outrank their bad qualities, I guess.
I feel like they aren't super relatable.
No,
not really.
Brian or Andy are probably the most relatable. I mean, Andy not for me, but for some people I could see how he would be relatable.
I knew some people in high school that would probably say that a lot. Like a lot of sports guys.
Yeah. So, any other crushes? Anyone?
No, I don't really think I have any.
Okay.
Because like you said, like I more relate to the qualities of the characters than, find them attractive.
Yeah.
So maybe that's some kind of weird reflection of
No,
myself.
that makes
since
sense.
I relate to a lot of like their personalities. But yeah. And for the earlier question, I feel like I'm a mix of Brian and Probably a little bit of Bender, but also that's just because Judd Nelson's cool. And I wish I was that cool. But like some of the things that like he talks about, like I feel that.
Yeah.
I relate to that. So
Yeah.
I think it's weird because you have to like crushes. You have to are you basing it off of like physical attraction or like their personality and their character traits?
absolutely.
Because I like personality traits. Really, probably would have chosen John Bender.
Yeah.
Got that bad boy thing going on.
That makes him attractive, but also is not attractive because
Yeah.
he's a icky person. But also it makes him attractive. That's the thing with bad boys, right? I guess.
Yeah, and is he like being bad just to cover up things that he doesn't want to have to deal with?
Yeah. Which we kind of get into when the scene with the assistant principal yelling at him, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know what was said there. Jake, do you kind of remember more about what he's yelling him at? He's just like he's the scum of the earth and
Yeah, basically stuff like that because it's after the scene when they're all running through the hallway and then Bender's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself so you all can get back to the library safely. Because he was like, oh, we need to go this way, and Andy was like, no, we gotta go that way, and then Andy was wrong. But then Bender's still like, I'm gonna go and do it. Maybe I do have a crush on Bender. Anyway, defending him. Anyway, okay, serious time. So when the principal catches Bender after they've been running in the hallway, like he just takes him to the closet and locks him in there and basically says, you know, like you've made me look bad in front of the kids one too many times, and I'm just gonna leave you in here all day, and yeah, you're the scum of the earth.
Okay.
So long version, yeah, you're basically right.
Okay.
I think he even tries to like start a fight with him too, with Bender.
Yeah, he's like put him up. Show me what you got.
Show me what you got. Yeah.
Shows you that the vice principal like hasn't ever really grown up, and he probably became a teacher so he can still live in high school and deal with all these petty cliques and everything in the way that he would have in high school, which was to be a bully probably.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Did you know?
Yes.
Well, Jake, I'm sure you know. You know all the fun facts. Actually, Jake, I was going to ask you if you had ever thought about like going to a road trip to Illinois and visiting all of John Hughes's film sites.
I actually have thought about that because both John Hughes's gravesite and the school, the exterior at least where they shot this, and Ferris Bueller both, that's like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
From where I live.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go.
You have to.
So if you guys want to like apparate to where I'm at and then we can just drive, although if we can apparate, why wouldn't we just apparate to the school site?
Very true.
Anyway, yeah, that's a road trip. I actually seriously thought about taking it when I turned 21, I think it was the beginning of this year, that I ended up and just didn't. But I seriously thought about it.
Yeah. That would be sweet. I think you should sometime. Yeah, because all of John Hughes' movies take place in Illinois, right?
Or
most of them.
Yeah.
And he had a cameo in here. He plays Brian's dad, right?
Mm-hmm. Not credited.
Not credited. That's great. Yeah, so we only see a couple of the kids' parents, never Judd Nelson's parents, which makes a statement that he is not very guided at home.
Or Ali Sheedy's either.
Yeah, which I don't think she's very guided at home either.
No. Maddie, do you want to hear two things that might shock you?
Yes.
First thing is I have not seen all of the movies John Hughes has directed.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the second one is, out of all the movies I have owned, I have never owned this one on VHS.
Whoa.
Wow.
How many have you seen of John Hughes?
Let me look. Let me go to my Letterboxd and give it a glance.
Emily, have you seen like Ferris Bueller and what's the other ones? The bigger ones.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
Pretty in 16 Candles is the other one.
16 Candles.
Okay. Yeah, so I saw
Planes, Trains, and
Candles,
Automobiles.
and I saw Ferris Bueller. And,
Okay.
but it was a while ago. It was in like probably college. I think college was when I saw a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so he's directed 8 movies, and I've seen 6 of them, and he's written 33 screenplays, and I have seen 19, which is the majority.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he also wrote Home Alone 1 and 2.
Oh.
And Christmas Vacation, the first 3 vacations actually.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
And The Great Outdoors, which is part of the greatest trilogy. and Some Kind of Wonderful, obviously. And Weird Science is the other one that he directed.
I feel like I need to watch that. Except, so Anthony Michael Hall's in that, right?
Yes, he is in that one. I forget the other guy's name though.
So apparently he like rapes somebody in that one.
No, that's 16 Candles.
Oh, that's 16 Candles. Yikes.
Yeah, the way you worded that, I'm like, does that really happen? And I'm like, kinda.
Well, I mean, like in today's terms, it probably wouldn't be acceptable, but back in the 80s,
No.
it's hard to like talk about because in the Breakfast Club, it's like got a bunch of like homophobic slurs and everything written on the lockers and all that, which wouldn't be acceptable today. But you just kind of got to leave it in the past, and say it was fine there because things we say today probably won't be acceptable in 10 years. And
okay, what's something that's a future controversial that we could say?
Yes, let's try for that.
Yes, let's try really hard to piss off future people. That's a great idea.
Oh my god. I don't know. I mean, it could be anything, really.
I'm probably gonna be one of those people that gets like pissed off. Like, that was offensive. I was like, I guess in 10 years I won't be a grandma, but I just picture myself.
You'd be a
as
cat
an old
grandma.
lady. Oh yeah. I'm like an old lady, so I'll just be an older old lady.
You're my oldest friend, see?
I am, yes.
I was gonna ask you guys.
Wait, did we answer the last question? What was the last question?
Oh, how many John Hughes movies you've seen? You've seen 6.
Okay.
6 out of 8.
I've seen most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen a few. I've only seen like 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club,
And Some Kind of Wonderful.
and Some Kind of Wonderful.
except for the last 5 minutes.
Emily, did you listen to that one where we were talking about that?
No.
Where I thought she was a lesbian the whole time?
It sounds familiar.
We were kind of talking about, well, it was one that we watched. It wasn't our full episode. It was just like one that we watched that week.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, so it was the end of our first episode.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, it
last,
was.
10 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
10, 20 minutes. Because then we moved on to talk about Lucy, because Lucy is our queen.
Okay.
So let's see. I was gonna ask, do you think they're gonna make a remake?
Ooh.
God, I hope not.
You hope not.
One of the best things about this movie is that, and it's a true testament to it, is that even though it was made in the 80s, it's still like timeless in a way, because even though some of the dialogue and the clothing and the location, like all that obviously is dated, but the core themes of the movie are still just as powerful today, I think.
I agree.
Which is why they shouldn't.
So no.
But they probably will, because that just seems to be what they do with everything.
Right? I hate Hollywood right now.
I hate Hollywood, yeah.
But I think it could benefit maybe like, I would hope they would do it like in 50 years. Because then I think they could really incorporate how relationships have changed, how diversity has changed, because there's like so many white people. And I was listening to this podcast about it, and they said that they could have benefited from really having a few people of color in it, because then they would see each other as being even more different, coming from different backgrounds, and still connecting even through different races, especially in the 80s, and would have been maybe even more impactful. So I would kind of like to see that happen. But also, this movie has inspired so many high school movies, and also like all of John Hughes's movies have just spurred so many crazy, I'm sure like Mean Girls, is like very much inspired by John Hughes, and all of those traditional high school movies, which we still have today, that keep coming out, which are I don't know, I think I love. I know you guys love too.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be kind of weird to make a remake just because it's so iconic. It might even seem boring if they made a remake, you know?
Well, actually, first of all, when you said 50 years, do you mean 50 years from like 1985 or 50 years from now?
From 1985.
Okay, because first of all, if it was 50 years from now, I'd be the grandpa walking around being like, back in my day, they didn't need to remake this. But what I was gonna say was, I think like, I don't know if it was Molly Ringwald that said this, but somebody from the movie said this. Like, if it was remade today, it'd just be like 10 minutes because they'd just be sitting on their phones the whole time. and that pissed me off so much because of how true that is.
I mean,
I'm like, my God. No, do not. If they make that into a movie,
no. Here's what they do. They'd have to put their phones in a basket, obvi.
Yes.
And
actually,
basket.
well, in 50 years, they'd have to take out their Google contacts and put them in a basket. And so that they would just be real humans interacting with each other without any of their technology and TikToks. And then that's the only way we can reach like true humanity, which is scary. Because, Emily and I, we watched Frozen 2, which we'll talk about later.
Ooh.
You know, Olaf has that, I keep thinking about it, Olaf has that quote where he says, what is it, Emily?
Oh gosh, I don't remember, because I can only remember a couple of his quotes, like, turtles can breathe through their butts. I'm looking it up right now. But also I have opinions about something that you said earlier.
Okay.
Can I bring us back?
Definitely.
Okay.
Always.
Okay, so you were talking about like creating diversity among the five and how it would be good to have people of color in that. And I'm probably like totally not going to be politically correct. Keep in mind I live in the Midwest and it's a small town.
Same.
So I feel like so if they were to do a remake right now, like today, and they added people of color into it, I feel like it would just be like, oh, well, they just did it because they had to. And I feel like when it gets to the point where it just is because it is, and not because it's trying to make a statement, I think that's when we'll have achieved like what everybody is trying to achieve.
It can be construed as trying too hard. I feel like a lot of movies do that where they have like, you know, the token black person or something. But I feel like recently, have you watched like Love, Simon on Hulu yet? I think I told you about that, but it's like or not Love, Simon, Love, Victor.
Yeah, that one.
Wait, no, it is Love, Simon.
Well, Love, Simon's the movie, but they've got a spin-off TV show.
I didn't watch Love, Simon. I watched Love, Victor.
Oh, you did?
Oh, okay. What is it about? How is it?
The show is really cute.
Yeah, the series.
Sorry, Emily, please say what you wanted to say.
Oh no, I'm still trying to find this Olaf quote, so you guys go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I think, I mean, obviously the ideal place we would be is us, like, making a movie where actors can be actors, whatever they look like, you know? And I get where you're coming from, where it's like, it's called, like, reverse prejudice, where you have, like, women or people of color or gay people just because you think you have to. But I think also it would reach larger audiences if you had like people like homosexual, pansexual, asexual, whatever in this type of movie, also with like an Asian person or a black person or a Middle Eastern person, or they could be like the majority of the people and there was only like one white person. And I feel like we might be at that point where we can just cast people and it is what it is, but also the writers have to realize, like, what are we writing for? What are the type of people who are going to come see this? What are high schoolers dealing with right now? Which is, oh my gosh, so much crazier even from when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And then also, like, they have to take into account, like, location, like, where it was filmed, and, like, that's probably the group of kids that you get, like, still today.
That's true. They're in Illinois, so...
Yeah, so if you just throw in people of color, you're like, like, that might not be very realistic, and then I think it would feel like they're trying too hard.
That's true.
But I do agree that I think it probably just needs to it's something that just kind of needs to keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
I found that Olaf quote. It says, "Advancing technology is both our savior and our doom."
Yes.
Olaf, accurately describing a modern-day first-world problem in 19th century Arendelle.
Yeah, so I constantly think about that, because we're all gonna be enthralled in the next big thing, but then it's also gonna do so much damage. Like, have you guys seen the social dilemma documentary on Netflix?
My dad's like
No, but I've heard
obsessed
of
with
it.
It's basically just says technology's bad, but well, I mean, not really, but kind of in a way for mental health.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I really agree with. It sucks, and I wanted to kind of get into the suicide part of this movie, where Anthony and Michael Hall, when they get into their deep discussion, admits that he was gonna commit suicide with the flare gun that he brought to school. At school, like, what? That's insane. And they just kind of brush it off, and then they make a joke about it, which in the 80s I guess was fine, but nowadays, no, like, that cannot happen.
Well, just bringing a gun to school in general, but the fact that it was like, it wasn't, because isn't like a flare gun just, like it, yeah.
It just like pops a little fireball into the sky. I don't think you could kill yourself with it.
Yeah, I think that's what they end up in like joke about, like.
Yeah, it's like totally such a serious issue nowadays, and like with the social dilemma, they talk about how the suicide rate has gone way up high, and social media and internet and all these things have just like been so bad for mental health, especially with young teenagers, which is horrible to think about.
I just researched it, and a flare gun could definitely be used as a deadly weapon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Poor kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're all like, "Hey, you can do our homework."
There's something that happens between that.
I mean, but still, like, you think that they'd be like, yeah, we can all do this. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're good.
Like how they kind of brush it off. I feel like when we were in high school, that's something that people would have done as well.
That's true.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It is, because I knew somebody that had talked about it, and I brought it to the attention of, it was a teacher, and they didn't do anything.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Luckily, this person ended up getting help, but it wasn't.
God, that's
the teacher
so
didn't do anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like, really? Like, so I can't. I was like, I'm 14. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And the teacher didn't. So, like, I feel like that's something that might still, I mean, it was, when did I graduate? A long time. I mean, 8 years ago, so maybe it's come far enough now that people take it seriously.
I think so. I would hope so. But I'm sure there are places that don't. That's horrible. Yeah, I mean, there was that one kid in high school who had completed suicide, and that was just devastating for the whole entire town.
Wait, so did you knew this person?
I didn't know him. He was a few grades ahead of me. I knew knew his sister. Yeah, he was like 5 or 6 grades ahead of me, maybe.
Okay, yeah. I was in 8th grade, so.
Oh, okay. Then I was in 7th grade. Yeah. And I just remember, the town went crazy. That was my first experience with something like that, and it was insane. Like, wow, really? Like, that happened? And then since then, we've had a lot of people from our high school.
Mm-hmm.
But
wow.
Yeah, we were talking about that this weekend as well, and how sad that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember like hearing like I didn't know who the kid was, but some people in my class I think knew him. There was a kid from like a neighboring school that had committed suicide, and then like we just talked about it like 1 or 2 days, and then nobody ever brought it up again. And it was and it just kind of has that same mentality of, you just kind of brush it off in a way.
It's hard to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's largely because people don't know how to talk about it, and like we aren't taught how to talk about subjects like that. And so maybe in bringing awareness and how to like bring those things up, that might be beneficial to kids in general and humans in general.
Yeah, especially now.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I hope there are some programs in place where they're really taking mental health seriously in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously, make it appropriate for each age, but I definitely think that's absolutely vital, is to teach, to teach all ages just how to cope with that, because we certainly weren't taught that, and that's something that, like you said, is happening more and more, and it's really sad, and it's something that, like how do you even deal with something like that?
It is hard. My thoughts and feelings go out to anyone who's experiencing something like that right now. And
Yeah.
if you need help, there's that hotline number, which I don't have in front of me. I will.
We'll be sure to put it in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking up resources here, and we can put those in the
Okay.
descriptions as well. It's the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and you can
Perfect.
start a club in high school, or I think it's mainly toward high schoolers. And yeah, you guys can put that information. I'll get that to you, Maddie.
Cool. Thank you. I guess maybe we can just transition into another serious topic.
Well, sure, because that sounds fine.
Well, I just don't like the relationship that Bender and Claire have. It just is not good, and I don't I don't like that they portray it the way they do, because I mean, obviously the time is different. I will recognize that. But I think that even in that time where if like Claire and Bender got together, they wouldn't have been good for each other in the end. I mean, it's kind of satisfying to see the most popular girl get with the bad guy, or the bad boy. I feel like that's kind of like a fantasy, but
Yeah.
then also he's like sexually harassing her and like kind of manipulating her to talk to them about her virginity and everything, and that she probably definitely loses her virginity to him, and she will probably regret it. And I feel like she would go through like a slew of guys that are the same as him to kind of like make her feel validated or something when she doesn't need to. And I feel like that's a bad message to send to people. So don't do
took that and ran with that.
Yeah, you really
You didn't just you dove to the very bottom of that pool.
You dove way down. Well, that's actually the sequel that they never made. Because Claire 10 years later has just been going through a slew of relationships like that.
Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the super optimistic positive one.
Okay.
Which is weird because that's not me at all.
It's usually me. But
yeah,
by all means,
I'm not typically
80%.
optimistic. But maybe from this relationship with Bender, she realizes like that her value isn't in this bad boy from high school, and she knows for the future that her reputation of or trying to prove herself with these other kids, that's not worth the emotional pain that she went through with Bender.
Okay. All right. I can dig it.
That's another storyline.
Yeah, for sure. Because do you think she still has a couple years of high school left, and maybe he's like in his last year?
Yeah, or even
she's got still more to learn.
Yeah, or even if she is a senior, I don't know. Obviously, there's not a sequel, but I feel like her relationship with him, when it ends, it's gonna hurt. That seems to kind of just be a given.
I agree.
Relationships
I think so.
can hurt, and especially with him being so him.
Yeah.
There's no way that one's gonna just go easily.
Blow over easy.
Yeah.
For sure. I could definitely envision their breakup. It's not good.
Yeah, it kind of hurts me to talk about high school relationships, because I can just feel it so sharply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just relationships in general, honestly. Like you don't put yourself through all of that and then not feel anything when it ends.
Because there's, definitely a lot that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you just put so much of yourself into that relationship with somebody, you know, whether it's romantic or platonic or whatever you want to call it. And then if it does end, if it's unless it's just like a, you know, just and even when you do just kind of drift apart, that also you can also feel that, but especially when it's such a visceral conclusion, it just has that, you know, that just like added punch effect to it.
Mm-hmm. It's like that acute pain.
Yeah. Well, we're getting real here on this episode. This is
This is
actual
the
therapy.
realest episode ever.
Yeah, so
This is taking it, we're deep into it right now.
Well, I think we all have some like special or not, gosh, I don't know if I'd say special, but some like personal attachment to this movie because it is high school and like I think we're all in that age where Jake, of course, you're a little closer to it than Maddie and I. But it's still real. Like those experiences still happened and
yeah.
like when you're in
like we lived through it.
therapy, yeah, and when you're in therapy, those things kind of come back up. And you guys call this thing film therapy, so not pointing fingers, but
well, I was going to initially say, wow, what you're saying is absolutely beautiful, but then you started to you started to nonchalantly be like, well, it's film therapy, and then I'm like, okay, well, I have take back what I was going to say.
I had to put up my walls and hide my feelings with sarcasm.
Hey, well, welcome to the chat. That's what we do here.
Jake uses SpongeBob and Friends quotes, and
Okay.
I just
actually
don't
do
talk.
use SpongeBob and Friends quote.
I could probably catch more of the Friends references.
Okay, I'll think of one then.
It'll be something like, "Hey you," and he'll be like, "That's from episode this, season this."
Yeah, okay, I probably couldn't do that, but
Okay, okay, Emily, this one's pretty obscure. Do you know this one? You're playing PlayStation, huh? That's whack.
I remember they kept saying whack over and over.
Yeah, it's Joey trying to be 19, which as
Yes.
someone who's been 19, that's exactly what it's like.
Whack.
Sup to the whack PlayStation, sup.
Oh my gosh.
And then,
I
and
said,
then he's like, I can pass for 19, right?
gosh. Yesterday I said, Joey doesn't share food.
You want to know something? You want to know something really funny about that? It's not funny, but it's kind of ironic. That's like, I think that was actually the one episode of Friends, because I started watching Friends around the same time I saw this movie. So like when I was 14, 15, I was really shaped by Friends and 80s movies. But that episode, Joey doesn't share food. I don't even know what the rest of the episode is. But like that part, I didn't see that one for like years. And whenever I heard that, I'm like, wait, what episode is that? And then I finally saw it, and I'm like, oh.
Hey, nice.
And by finally saw it, I mean I just saw it like a year ago or even sooner than that. So like,
I binge
Pretty
watched the whole
recent.
thing probably a year ago, and I like really felt empty when it ended.
yeah.
Like I spent so much of my time in it, and then it just was over.
When you watched it, did you had you seen it before? Did you go in
No.
blind? Like, did the twists and turns surprise you?
So I mean, I watched it like not really. It was just on the TV when I was like a little kid. I remember my parents watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I didn't understand, like when I went into it, I'm like, oh cool, this will be good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Also
It is
cried
though.
a lot.
Yeah, me
So
too.
many things.
Me too. It's funny now because I go back and there's certain episodes and not episodes, but there's certain like storylines and like jokes where I'm like, okay, I really don't like that for one reason or another. But as a whole, it's still, and I've seen it way too many times because my mom is also a huge fan of it. But it's still one of those shows where if I need to just turn on something in the background, that's my go-to is Friends.
Yeah, I wish it was still on Netflix.
Yeah, I do too. Because I'm too cheap to get HBO every month.
That's where it went, HBO.
Yeah.
What is The Breakfast Club rated? PG?
R, I think.
No, it's rated R.
Rated R?
Yeah. Well, how many times do they say fuck? Like 1,000?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I guess none of us really did watch it like super recently, which is rare because even when Maddie doesn't watch a movie, I always watch it because, I'm more committed like that.
Hey!
I think Maddie's been busy this last few days.
That's right. You should see my fucking apartment, Jake.
Maddie. Okay, I'm okay. Fuck it. I need to get real now because you questioned me. I need to get real. In all seriousness, I know you've been busy. No. Shut up. You put way more work into this than I do. I absolutely love you for it and for many other reasons. I don't blame you at all because you know this movie very well. So I'm just messing with you. I do not.
I know you do. You're funny.
I want it stated for the record.
Okay.
So Emily and Craig don't think I'm an asshole. Although I don't care what Craig thinks of me, to be honest. Fuck you, Craig.
Oh, you care what I think about you?
Yes, I do.
That's so nice.
Anyone that Maddie values in such high esteem, I care what they think of me.
Oh. Don't make me cry. I want to cry on a podcast.
I've made Maddie say "Don't make me cry" like many times in our friendship. So.
Oh,
that's true.
I just want to add, it's not that hard to make me cry.
Oh yeah, me neither. So many movies get me to cry, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Also Friends.
Also Friends.
Also Friends.
Also puppies.
Oh yeah. Also my puppy, who is the greatest thing in the human world.
What about baby kittens?
And baby kittens.
Oh.
If you want to know about kittens that are babies, just talk to Liz because she's got a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh baby kitten.
Dr. Doolittle over there.
I fell in love with a baby kitten this weekend.
Me too. Yeah, my boyfriend's kitten. We decided to name him Woody.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's so cute.
Okay, that's your therapy this week. If you have a pet, just go give them a hug. You'll feel instantly better.
If you don't have a pet, go adopt one.
Yeah, go ahead. Even if it's just a goldfish.
Yeah, go get a fish. I have aquarium things.
You have so much aquarium things. It was in your kitchen boxes.
Yeah, I know. Poor Emily had to help me unpack some of my boxes, and she pulled out my fish bowl and like my salt and stuff that I recently used when I had my sea monkeys, and then I had a whole
your sea monkeys.
Other
I
box.
forgot. I named one of them.
Yes, you did. You named it Laura Palmer.
No, I named it.
No,
Cooper.
you named it Cooper.
You wouldn't let me name the other one Laura, and I was like, "Damn it, Maddie." I said I have that video saved. I'm like, "Can we name one Laura?"
Me too.
And they're like, "No, we can't." And I'm like, "Damn it."
But anyway, yeah, then she opened up another box, and there was a whole another aquarium set in there, and I don't have any fish. Okay. You want to talk about what we watched this week? I watched it a lot.
Oh, wait, Maddie. You watched more than I did. This is kind of rare. I love it.
Oh my gosh, wow. So, it's been a while since we recorded, but it's been since before Halloween.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, wow.
So on Halloween, I watched Frankenweenie, like we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. It was sad because, along the lines of pets dying, the kid's Victor Frankenstein's dog.
Victor Van Dort.
Also Victor Van Dort. His dog gets ran over, and he brings him back to life using his science experiment. So it's all about that. It was cute. It was good. I liked it. Actually, I really liked it. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But I didn't really have any expectations. I guess I thought it was going to be, in my mind, for some reason, I thought it was like along the lines of Hotel Transylvania for some reason. Too. Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen it though, so that's good.
I haven't seen Hotel Transylvania. But
Yeah, me neither.
I just thought it would be along the lines of the same, like, stupid kids movie, I guess. But it wasn't. It was good. Oh, I watched The Royal Tenenbaums again because a bunch of Wes Anderson's got on Prime. So I watched The Royal Tenenbaums, which I really liked.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That's awesome.
Jake, you need to get on the Wes Anderson train. Also Emily, too, if you haven't seen any of his.
I do. I've only seen Moonrise Kingdom, which is good.
I really like Moonrise Kingdom, yeah.
I want to see Grand Budapest, just like from a cinema standpoint, like the way that like the aspect ratio changes and all the camera moves that I've like seen like the clips of. It just looks amazing.
I know what aspect ratio is. Sorry, I was just really
Hey!
Hey!
I took a film class, just one, and I loved
Woohoo! Yay! It's fun, isn't it?
It was the best class you ever took.
It was top 2 or 3 actually.
Nice. It's a fun time. Have you seen anything directed by Wes Anderson, like Isle of Dogs, most recently, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Life Aquatic?
No, but they sound familiar.
You gotta watch them. What one would I recommend you watching first? Maybe Moonrise Kingdom.
Okay.
It's a good starter.
And that's on. It was on Netflix, right? But it might still be.
Because that's how I saw it. Was on Netflix.
I'll find
but that
it.
was a long time
And
ago.
also they have a bunch on Netflix now, or on Prime now. So
Okay.
you can find some.
I'll look into it.
I'm just gonna skip ahead to when Emily was here because that's when I can remember.
Hey, when Emily was here, it's the sequel to when Marnie was there. Hell yeah, I'm down. I'd watch
Emily
that.
was here. We watched Frozen 2.
Ooh, what did you think?
Oh, it's been the second time I've watched it now, so I enjoyed it.
Second time.
How many times have you guys seen it? Jake also loves Frozen 2.
I
love
saw it
Frozen 2.
twice in theaters,
Okay.
and I also pre-ordered it as soon as I saw it. Like, I was in the theater and pre-ordered it.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I've probably seen it over 5 times by now. I mean,
Okay,
at
nice.
least. Yeah, I love it. It's just I just have such a like deep connection to it, and like yeah, I just feel so like it just feels like it's me, and it's just like crazy that like it just like says so many things that I didn't think that I could say and like still can't. But like I
Yeah.
don't know how much to say about it because
Wow.
I don't know if you're supposed to like spoil it or not.
Okay,
That's okay.
I'll take care of this. Spoilers for Frozen 2. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's great. Real quick though, Emily, what you just said was so beautiful. I'm like smiling and giving the emotion of like that's awesome, but you can't see it because it's audio.
I'll believe you though.
But please continue. Please continue with your words of wisdom.
Okay, so I thought about it more. I kind of talked to Maddie about it a little bit while we were there, but there's a lot happening. So the first Frozen movie is like Elsa was learning how to cope with her powers. So like the parallel that was in my life was learning how to cope with mental illness and anxiety and depression, and anxiety in specific just because of the Let It Go song and stuff. So, and kind of coming to terms with it, like how Elsa ran from it for so many years and was told it was bad and was afraid to even confront it. And then she did, and she was like, oh, okay, cool. And then the movie ended. And then the second one was just like she just learned how to thrive, whether that was because of or in spite of her powers. Yeah, the scene where she was on in Otto Holland, or the whole song leading up to it, and how like when she fought against the nature spirits, they pushed back and resisted her every move, but then she figured out like how to work with them, and it made her stronger, and then it also made the nature spirit stronger. So then like when she was crossing the gosh, what was it? The ocean, but there's an on her way to Otterholland. Like it showed that fight of, well, with her and the water spirit, but just like the fight that goes on in someone's brain when they have mental illness, and like how exhausting it is to fight against it. But when you learn like how to work with it, it's just everything just goes so much smoother. So then like she gets to Otterholland and she was following the voice vocalizing, which is what it says in the subtitles.
Yeah. Voice vocalizing.
And like she gets there and like she's looking for this fifth spirit, kind of like her whole life. Like she was just looking for something, like the answer to why she was how she was. And in the second movie, it was like she was looking for someone. In the song, like she kept asking like, are you the one I've been waiting for all of my life? Like she's standing in the middle of all of the different symbols for the 4 spirits, and then it's like, you are the one you've been waiting for all of your life. And like it's just so incredible. Like oh
yes,
wow,
yes,
it's like the actual, I don't know, it's just that was really neat.
Very powerful.
Yeah, crazy powerful. And like every time I watch the movie, I feel like I just get something else from it, or it like reminds me that even though things feel things can feel like really horrible, kind of keep going, and like it's not, I don't know, it's so hard to put into words.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she was able to truly like experience freedom. For like, if anyone's listening and they don't know what it is like to have mental illness, it feels like captivity, and like you can't escape and you're locked up, and like all you want is just to be free. And so like to see that like she experienced that, and like I know she's a cartoon character,
yeah,
but like it's just so much more because it just like brings so much hope.
It does,
it's
and
beautiful
to children too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, it's a kids movie. Like,
yeah.
No, it's not a kids movie.
No.
It
And it
is.
doesn't matter if it is anyway.
Well, yeah, and that's something that like, oh my gosh, we could get into such a huge conversation over like how Disney is incredible. But yeah, it's just really neat. Like they definitely put things in that movie for the adults.
Yeah. Like much more so than just like a sex joke here and there.
Yeah, they really brought it on with like when Olaf was flurrying away.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh God.
like there were literally kids in the theater, like little kids just bawling. And
I'm
like,
sure.
yeah, and then it was so like then it was sad because these kids were crying, but then like gosh, yeah. So that I really feel like I can relate to Elsa, but then Anna sings the Do the Next Right Thing. And that's a really deep topic too.
Oh my God, that was so deep.
Oh my gosh, and like how like she lost everything and she didn't know how she was gonna keep going.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to. Like she literally was just like the grief literally just like pulls you down, and she said that in her song. She's like, no, I need to do the next right thing. Like one more step. And that's like a really big thing too, is like focusing on not like the whole future, but like just literally your next step. So they really touched on some deep topics, and I love.
Well, thank you very much for reminding me why I love that movie. You're trying to make me cry now. I related, God, just first of all, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for saying what you said about both movies. But I walked out of Frozen 2 feeling very similar about a lot of that. And that, and it just I actually haven't seen it again. I really want to watch it again. But I just walked out of the theater that day, and just being like, wow, I just feel like, even I knew I had like hopes for it, but then seeing the movie and just having it just kind of wash over me, and just walking out of the theater, I was just like, man, I don't know if like it's definitely personal things, but I did not expect that movie to just hit me on the visceral levels it did. And it's such a deep and honest movie, and it's like, it's not like, oh, we're a kids movie, we can't talk about any of that,
Right.
It just wasn't afraid to shy away from any of the dark topics. And it really, like you said, it really does deal with mental illness and anxiety and depression, and how grief is just so heavy and overwhelming, and how it's really hard to even take that extra step, but then you just have to keep going. And that song too is just so impactful. Like, holy crap.
I've done some good late night drive and cries with that song.
Yeah, I feel that. Now I just want to go watch Frozen 2 and like cry for like a third of it. So
You should.
It's
Yeah,
it's like good. Like if you need a good like
It is,
refreshing
though.
cry.
Yeah. It's a good like cleanse.
yeah, if you want an ugly cry and you want to lose hope in humanity, but then have it slightly regained, then watch Grave of the Fireflies.
Don't say it.
You knew what I was gonna say.
I'm not.
Okay,
I don't want to watch
okay,
that right now.
Okay, yeah. Go back to Frozen 2. That's better. And actually, Frozen. Yeah, it was just. I just remember just like mentally just how that movie just made me feel, and I just did not expect like to be like, oh my god, like one of the deepest, most like realistic movies about those topics that I had ever seen was an animated Disney movie, and it was Frozen 2, no less. But it was just so profound. Yeah. It was the best Disney movie of 2019, I think I can safely say. Not counting any of its subsidiaries, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else came out that year, but anyway, details.
It doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't. Frozen 2 is, like you said, Emily, just such a good movie, and
It's on to Plus.
Yeah, because I genuinely had forgotten like how, like I knew I had a connection with it, but just how deeply connected I felt to it. So thank you for reminding me of that.
And then, so, also I forgot, I started to watch The Addams Family, but it was on like a lunch break I had, and I was like, I don't really understand what's going on here. I don't really like it, so I stopped watching.
Like the one with Christina Ricci?
No. Yes? No? Yes? Does
Yeah,
she play
yeah,
Wednesday?
Yeah, she's Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Then yes. Like the original.
Yeah, the one from like the 90s.
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't really like it. Like what I saw of it. But so then I stopped watching that when I had to go back to work, and then I didn't ever start it again. And then also when Emily was here, we watched Easy A.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that almost.
So good. Classic high school movie.
Oh yeah.
And did we watch anything else while you were here?
I don't think we did. No, those were the two.
So Jake, did you watch anything?
I finally watched, because this is the M. Night Shyamalan movie I've been wanting to see. I finally watched The Village.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I did not know the twist, which I was so happy about.
Oh.
Because I kept it unspoiled, because I'm like, I want to see this movie unspoiled, and it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Me too. I really like The Village.
I like 95% of his movies.
Me too.
Maddie, we were in high school when we saw it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
I remember.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
So good.
And then I had not seen these, so I watched. I'm gonna watch because there's a fourth one too, and I'll watch that sometime soon. But I watched Psycho 2 and 3. Because there's the original Psycho, like classic movie, really good, and Psycho 2, believe it or not, is actually good. Like,
Really?
it actually has purpose to like continuing the story, and it's like an actual
Really?
good movie. Psycho 3 is like hit or miss. It's fine. It's better than Jason Goes to Manhattan, but and Goes to Hell, but Yeah, Psycho 2 was actually it's kind of like how Doctor Sleep is, which is the sequel to The Shining, where it's like it was made a few decades later, but it actually has like purpose and it feels like a good, like a natural continuation.
Okay, cool.
And then the other movie I watched was a movie. I don't know if either of you ever read the books or saw the movies when they came out, but the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. The actor who plays Roderick, the older brother in those movies, best part of those movies, by the way, he was in a movie. It was a movie about zombie demons, and it was called Dead Before Dawn, and it was just as stupid and fun as you'd think it would be. Not on the Sleepwalkers level, but still decent fun to be had.
I think I read maybe a couple of the books and watched the movie. I enjoyed the books. I thought they were really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about that when I was there too.
Yeah, we saw them on Plus.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do for next week?
Oh,
should we go back to...
What was your guys' last movie? Because I have a suggestion that I'd like to hear you guys talk about.
Oh, okay.
Our last was Corpse Bride and Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have... that doesn't matter for what we're
That's
doing
gonna
next
be...
week.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one that came out was Nightmare Before Christmas.
So, when Madi asked me to be on this, I thought of two movies, Breakfast Club and When Harry Met Sally. And that was one that I would be interested to hear you guys dissect at some point.
Actually, I think that's one of Mitch's favorites. Maybe we would have him on as a guest when we talk about that.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be neat. I'd be interested to see like where you guys take it and stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's awesome. So Maddie, if you want, we could do that one with Mitch sometime. Or if you want to do it next week, we can do that too.
Also, I'm giving you. I'll just plan out all your podcasts for the next while.
Please do so. It makes our job easier.
This one is an old one. It happened one night. It has
Okay.
Ooh.
Clark Gable and what is her name? I'm looking now. And it was, I believe, 1939. No, 1934. And there's something really cool about it. It was first of something.
Yeah, first move. I did a speech on this in high school. It's the first of 3 movies to be nominated for the top 5 Academy Awards. So, I'm sorry,
yeah.
to win.
Yeah, it won. It was, I think, the first one that did.
Actor, actress, screenplay, and then the other
Wow.
two are Silence of the Lambs and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I also have not seen.
Also good.
I have not seen that. It's on Netflix.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I want
Clark
to.
Gable
Maddie,
and
make me watch
Claudette
it.
Colbert.
Okay.
And
yeah, I've heard good things about that.
That sounds interesting.
I fell in love with that movie, and it goes it's from the 30s, so it's gonna go back to some of the basics of the actual filming and production. So I would be interested to hear you guys talk about that as well.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and like the romance was super clean, and even like the like sexual references were also ridiculously clean. But in that time they were like kind of scandalous. So yeah, I recommend that one because
what's it called again?
It Happened One Night.
It happened.
It was directed by Frank Capra.
Do you want to do that one for next week, Jake?
Sure, I'd be fine with doing that.
I think that'd be interesting to go way, way back.
Yeah,
that's also a movie. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, the way, way back, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of Tuin's favorite movies, so I have that on.
I like that one, yeah, it's a good one.
It's really awesome. Actually, hang on.
It was the last romantic comedy before the motion picture production code was enforced rigidly.
I don't know what that means.
So I think that's like the
Hays
rating.
Code. Yeah. It was when like censorship really started in movies for a while. Like you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
cool.
It was really good, and like the storyline is one that's just like kind of still. It's just classic, just so classic.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm really excited.
So do you want to do that for next week, Maddie?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right, so that's your prescription. It happened one night from the what year did you say? 1934?
1934.
1934.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going back to the past on this one.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Dig out the old VCR, which is not very far. I can dig that out pretty easily, actually.
I forgot to mention, I also watched the movie Rebecca.
What is that?
I'm gonna go into that real quick. So it's a new one on Netflix. It's with Lily James and Armie Hammer, and it's a remake of a movie that was probably in the 40s, and it was based on a book. So I read the book. I watched the original movie with my mom. We saw there was a new remake on Netflix, so we watched it together. It doesn't really hold up as a movie today, but it was still like kind of enjoyable. I don't know. It was weird. It was like Lily James was acting as a 1940s actress, and it wasn't really relevant today, and it was kind of weird. So I don't think it really translated that well. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So next week, go home, you watch some It Happened One Night, and we'll be back to discuss that. I'm really excited. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Emily, thank you so much.
It was so great having you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like all of the behind the scenes stuff with it.
And all of the awards it was nominated for, and like it was like preserved in the film registry, like National Film Registry and stuff. Like,
wow, cool.
Yeah.
And Emily, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really glad you came on. This is a good discussion, like very, very real discussion we had today. I'm glad we got
Maybe we should put a warning in the beginning even.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. It was great meeting you.
Feel honored.
Aww.
You guys are great.
I mean, we're really just a couple of film nerds who watch movies and talk about them. Like,
I think that makes up great people, though.
Oh, well, thank you so much.